11 in the morning, the 17th of February, 1861. The Banco delle Due Sicilie, via Toledo, Naples. Agents of the newly proclaimed Kingdom of Italy enter the vaults carrying sealed requisition orders signed in Turin 9 days earlier. Inside the vaults, 443 million ducats. In gold. In silver. In state securities and customs reserves. It is the single largest treasury in pre-unification Italy. It is larger than the combined reserves of Piedmont, Tuscany, and the Papal States. It is roughly 1/3 of all specie held on the Italian peninsula. By the end of the week, the gold is not in Naples. It is on carriages bound for Turin. Within 8 months, it has disappeared into the founding capital of what will later become the Bank of Italy. No inventory of the transfer survives. No receipt was ever issued to the Bourbon Due Sicilie's dynasty that had assembled it over 127 years. And from that day forward, the southern half of Italy, which in 1860 was wealthier per capita than the north, will never again be wealthier than the north. The treasure of the Two Sicilies is one of the largest royal fortunes in European history. 165 years after it was seized, the family that owned it is still suing the Italian state for the return of the archive boxes. This is where it went. The Bourbon Due Sicilie's dynasty had ruled the Kingdom of Naples since 1734. Over 127 years, across 11 monarchs, it assembled one of the largest concentrations of royal wealth on the European continent. By 1860, the kingdom covered the entire southern half of mainland Italy, plus the island of Sicily. 22 million subjects, a navy of 100 warships, the largest standing army on the peninsula. Economic historian Emanuele Felice documented in 2013 that in 1860 the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies had a higher gross domestic product per capita than the Kingdom of Piedmont, Sardinia. By 1890 the relationship had reversed permanently. The GDP continues to grow today. The mechanism of that reversal is the story of what left the vaults in 1861. The February 17th requisition was authorised under a Turin decree signed 9 days earlier. It named 3 categories of property to be absorbed: state reserves, royal palaces and their contents, and dynastic archives. The state reserves were the easiest to move. 443 million ducats in specie and securities were transferred to Turin over the following 8 months. The ducats were converted into the new Italian lira at a rate set by Turin. The southern currency was demonetized. Southern holders of Bourbon state bonds received new Italian bonds at face value, but the new bonds yielded lower interest, and the conversion wiped out roughly 30% of southern private savings. The founding of the Bank of Italy in 1893 drew on founding reserves that were never publicly audited against their original pre-unification sources. Italian economic historians have spent 140 years asking what fraction of those founding reserves traced to the Banco delle Due Sicilie. The Bank of Italy has never answered. The royal palaces were the second category. Capodimonte, built on a hill above Naples in 1738, contained the royal art collection. Caserta, built between 1752 and 1780, was the largest royal palace in the world by volume at the time of its completion. The Royal Palace of Naples, on the waterfront, was the working residence of the king. The paintings at Capodimonte numbered 1,783 in 1860. The collection had been assembled from the Farnese Dukes of Parma, inherited through Charles III of Spain in 1734, and held at Capodimonte for 127 years. After 1861, the Italian state transferred 156 paintings to the Brera Pinacoteca in Milan. 89 went to the Uffizi in Florence. 47 went to the Galleria Nazionale in Rome. The rest remained in Naples, but under the administration of the Italian state, not the family. The Bourbon family in 2007 formally requested the return of 43 specific works through the Italian Ministry of Cultural Heritage. The request was denied. The works remain in northern museums. The Farnese Hercules, a 3-meter Roman marble sculpture depicting the mythological hero leaning on his club, is still in Naples. The Farnese Bull, the largest surviving Roman sculpture, is still in Naples. Both are owned by the Italian state. Capodimonte draws 420,000 visitors per year. Every visitor pays an admission fee. None of those fees flow to the Bourbon family. The Royal Palace of Naples was inventoried in September 1860 by Royal Chamberlain Gaetano Parlatore. The inventory listed 4,217 objects of significant value. A parallel inventory conducted by Italian state agents in March 1861 listed 2,893 objects. The 1,324 object discrepancy has never been publicly explained. The coronation crown of Ferdinand IV, the jewelled sceptre of 1735, and the coronation chain of the Order of San Gennaro are listed in the 1860 inventory. They are absent from the 1861 inventory. Individual pieces have surfaced at auction houses in Geneva and London between 1920 and 2010. The Order of San Gennaro chain appeared at Christie's Geneva in 1978 and sold to a private buyer for 140,000 Swiss francs. Its current location is undisclosed. If you find forensic treasure stories like this one worth telling, the like button helps more people find this channel. The third category, absorbed in 1861, was the archives. 140 linear meters of Bourbon royal correspondence, marriage contracts, treaty negotiations, and internal state papers were seized and transferred into the Italian state archives. The private dynastic correspondence of Queen Maria Sophia of Bavaria, the warrior queen who defended the fortress of Gaeta for 102 days under artillery bombardment, remains in the Italian state archive system today. A 2004 ruling by the Court of Appeal in Naples granted the Bourbon family limited consultation rights, but denied restitution of the physical documents. The family has requested digitization and unrestricted access. The request is under review as of 2024. In 2018, a Naples civil court heard a consolidated Bourbon family claim for the return of 267 specific objects and 43 paintings. The claim was dismissed on procedural grounds. The family appealed in 2020. The appeal is pending. The two current claimants to the dynasty both live outside Italy. Prince Pedro, Duke of Calabria, lives in Madrid. Prince Charles, Duke of Castro, lives in Monte Carlo and Paris. The two branches split in 1960 following a disputed family act signed in Cannes. Each claimant leads a separate restitution effort. Both have requested the same objects. Meanwhile, the infrastructure built in northern Italy between 1861 and 1880 was funded largely by the absorbed southern capital. The Turin to Milan railway, the expansion of the Milan Stock Exchange, the renovation of the Savoy Royal Palace at Venaria, the initial endowments of the universities of Turin and Pavia, the 443 million ducats built a country. They built the institutions of the Italian state that absorbed them. The Italian state today collects admission fees from the palaces the Bourbons built. Caserta, 660,000 annual visitors. Capodimonte, 420,000. The Royal Palace of Naples, 510,000. Combined annual ticket revenue across the three palaces exceeds 22 million euros. None of those fees flow to the family that built them. The dynasty that constructed those rooms, filled those vaults, and commissioned those paintings over 127 years now pays full admission to walk through their own ancestors' bedrooms. Prince Pedro visits Caserta approximately twice a year. He has never been offered a reduced rate. The gold built a country. The family that mined it for 127 years never saw another lira of it. If this is the first video of mine you have watched, the channel explores one question in every episode. Where did the treasure go? The seized jewels, the looted paintings, the contested billions of the world's fallen dynasties. If you want that question answered across more regimes, subscribe so you will not miss what comes next.